So here is this glorious piece of footage of this giant man in what appears to be Japan. And, you know, it's worth the analysis. I think this appears, I'm looking at his shadowing under his feet when he walks. You know, I'm looking at his muscles when he flexes. I'm looking at his strange shape. You know, let's just say he's not a giant. What of his strange shape? What of those, you know, neck muscles and kind of shortened arms? And I swear that I've seen, you know, statues in the ancient world that show men that look like this. And this is the best piece of giant footage I have ever seen in my life. That's all there is to it. Again, I mean, this man does not have the physique of a modern man. Now I want you to look at his footprints. Look, I mean, that's authentic to me. If you're looking at that shadowing, let's look at that again. Let's start at the beginning. I don't know. And again, even if for some strange reason this man was superimposed or, you know, and was actually a smaller man, he is a fascinating man. Let's watch it in backwards. I mean, this man is really stepping, and this man has a very light and graceful walk for his massive size. I mean, he's light-footed, but I do believe that would be very difficult to fake, and somebody would have to go to great lengths, especially with this older, you know, grainy footage. I mean, when I'm looking at the buildings back here, you know, when I'm looking at those buildings, I mean, we see, you know, we see kind of Antiquitech up there. I mean, this is legitimate. I mean, and the faintest shadows, you know, maybe you could superimpose some shadows under his feet, but not the shadows that are created, you know, about a foot or two away. I mean, those are very faint, very, very soft and subtle that you can see at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I mean, that is, you know, if this is a forgery, then this is a master forgery. You know, again, if this was fake footage just made for a trailer, not even made for the movie, but for a trailer, this is obviously old footage right here that you can see. I mean, there's no way this was made in modern times and made to look old. And so here is a back view of him walking. And again, I mean, the footage is, you know, probably some of the oldest video recording that exists. So this seems like the same scene, but from the other side, another angle, you know, where he's waving. There we go. There it is. You see how he raises the left hand? Now let's go back, and he's raising the left hand. But regardless, another angle, you know, because the first angle is this one. Now that's on one side of the street, which tells me two people are filming, and he's down low. Look how low this photographer is. Very low, maybe kneeling. And now let's look at this photographer is up high. And as big as this man is, you know, he's probably on a second story even, zooming in a little bit. So at the last minute I found an amazing piece of footage. Again, much crisper, same footage, much crisper. And And then I found an article, and then I lost it, and I found something semi-substantial, but not as good. And it talked about, this video is from the 1890s, and the man was said to be from a tribe called Cha-Cha. It was said that he was the last giant who had lived on an island with the name of HAHAJIMA. And this was actually chronicled in the pre-war Japanese Imperial Archive. And the other article that I found, and and I'll probably find it just when I wrap things up with this video, but the other article talked about his family that he lived with in Japan, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Now, initially when researching this giant, you will not find this piece of footage because the whole idea is that it was made for a trailer for the movie Big Man Japan. And he's supposed to be this warrior and this protector, and this piece of footage has nothing to do with that trailer or this movie, and it's actually very difficult to come about. You really have to do some digging before you get to this piece of footage, and it really throws the whole movie and the trailer idea off, and just an amazing piece of footage. So what can we conclude of all of this? Should it be so unusual that there would be one giant left over in Japan, walking amongst people in early times? When we look at this old blockwork in Japan, is this not proof that there was a giant people? I mean, they have left their traces all over the world. And again, I think it's a shame to quickly debunk this, as it has been on the internet. And, ancient Japan is something that's new to me. This whole idea of, this stonework and these traces of an ancient people. And here I just feel really fortunate that somehow this piece of footage existed. And again, I think, it would be in somebody's interest, in somebody who is shaping this reality or helping to shape it for the worst. It would be in their interest to create a stupid movie and pay someone, some amount to just throw people off, and that's exactly what people have done with this. They have taken it as, oh, it's just this movie, and most of what you see on the internet is that. I would say the mass majority is not really any kind of analysis of this footage, but rather, oh, it was just part of this movie. End of story.